The 2026 NFL Senior Bowl is wrapping up. We now know who's pretty much going back to school and who's going into the 2026 draft. Now we're a week away from the Super Bowl, so we know where at least the top 30 picks are going to be. Let's do an updated 2026 NFL mock draft. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? I'm excited just about the whole draft process we are going to get right now because it does feel like the draft starts at number 2 and the Jets are going to have a massive decision to make after we kind of assume who the Raiders are going to take at number 1. I mean, it's obviously going to be Fernando Mendoza, in my opinion. He's the clear, I think, top quarterback in this draft. I think he's maybe the only quarterback you can really justify a 100% first round grade on, and the Raiders need a franchise quarterback as well. It was a disaster with Geno Smith. They don't have a long-term answer on their roster right now. I don't think there's like a Sam Darnold type player that could change you in free agency. They're not signing Daniel Jones. I doubt they're trading for Kyler Murray. Yeah, Joe Burrow for number 1 in like a Madden trade world would be a great idea. And I'd rather have Joe Burrow than Mendoza going forward. But this is the clear franchise quarterback in Las Vegas. And as I'm recording this too, we kind of now know that Clint Kubiak is going to be the Raiders head coach, an offensive-minded head coach. They can't officially hire him because they're playing in the Super Bowl. So the day after the Super Bowl, maybe the minute after the Super Bowl ends, Clint Kubiak is going to be the next Raiders head coach to be the guy to hopefully bring this team to relevancy again with Fernando Mendoza moving forward. So yeah, Mendoza's the clear 1-1 in this draft. I don't think that's going to change over the next few weeks. I'm going to see somehow bombs the interviews, bombs his pro day, bombs the workout. He's going to have to do a lot, and I don't think that's going to happen given what we've seen from Mendoza over the last 2 years of his career, but most notably this past year at Indiana, transferring from Cal. So yeah, Mendoza's the next Raiders quarterback, and then I think the draft starts at number 2. So the Jets, they're not going to, I think, take an offensive lineman here at number 2. They've invested in that position throughout the draft over the last few years. Aaron Glenn needs a defensive playmaker, right? This team's defense took a hit last year. They got great hauls and great returns for Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, but those are your 2 best defenders that are no longer on your roster. Quincy Williams is gone. The Will McDonald pick is looking a little bit worse as we get further away from it. The Jets could look to either take, I think, 3 players here. It's a 3-player race. I think it's all going to be on the defensive side of the ball. They could target offense at 16. They obviously have a top 2nd rounder as well. I think it either comes down to Arvell Reese from Ohio State, Ruben Bain from Miami, or David Bailey from Texas Tech. What I'm kind of reading, it feels like David Bailey might actually be the number 2 overall pick. I think when you're looking at Ruben Bain versus David Bailey, Bain has maybe a higher upside and you're drafting him based off the potential. He didn't get a ton of sacks in Miami this past year, but I don't think that really shows the full story for what he could be at the NFL level. Therefore, I think David Bailey is actually going to be the number 2 overall pick right now. I think it could definitely end up being Arvell Reese, who could fly around all over the field. You hope you can line him up as an edge rusher sometimes as well. Like, could he be maybe the Jalen Walker prototype from last year coming out of Georgia? If you're going to primarily use him as an off-ball linebacker, I don't know if Darren Muji and the Jets are trying to be forward-thinking. I don't know if that actually will come to fruition. You could justify taking somebody like Arvell Reese at number 2, and hey, he could definitely end up as the best player from this draft. I think the Jets, though, are looking to get that premier edge rusher. Quinnen Williams, interior defensive lineman, he's gone. Like I said, the Will McDonald pick hasn't been the best in the world either. I mean, Sherwood might not be on this roster much longer, so that's not like making you not take Arvell Reese, but I do think from what we're trying to predict right now, David Bailey is actually going to be the number 2 overall pick. I think it comes down between David Bailey and Ruben Bain. So we're on the clock here with the Cardinals at number 3, a bunch of different options for them. So they can, 1, start to protect Kyler Murray a little bit more. They're the only team, as I'm recording this, they don't have their head coach yet. I think they were in the running for Clint Kubiak. They obviously don't get him. Todd Monken goes to the Browns. He was like one of the also recent head coaches to get picked up. So the Cardinals are still looking for their guys. Is it going to be Anthony Lynn? Is it going to be Ron Rivera? I hope not. But yeah, so the Cardinals here at number 3, they're not taking a quarterback. I think they're going to roll into next year with Kyler Murray. And I feel like you take Francis Maianoa and he's either going to protect Kyler Murray with Paris Johnson, but then it's tough if you don't think he's really the 3rd best player in the draft. So then it kind of gets a little questionable. I kind of like the idea of Arvell Reese on this team, but I also like the idea of Ruben Bain as well. And I think as we get closer to the draft, these teams are going to prioritize these premier edge rushers maybe a little bit more than Arvell Reese. I could be wrong. Like I said, Arvell Reese can definitely be the best player in this draft. I just think it'll be Bailey and Bain right now. So yeah, we had 2 defensive guys. We're going to probably stick with that here at number 4. I don't think Reese is going to drop much further. I like him going to Tennessee. They just need a defensive playmaker, right? The defense does not have any blue chip guys. Obviously, I would love Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate to the Titans here at number 4. And maybe they're a trade down team. Maybe when I do a mock draft with trades, I have the Chiefs trading up for Arvell Reese, and the Titans get maybe a future Chiefs first rounder next year, which could be at 32, and the Chiefs trade up for somebody like Reese or Bailey or Ruben Bain if they were to fall to pick 4, and the Titans think they could maybe snag one of Tate or Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon there at number 9, or maybe Kenyon Sadiq if they really like him as a tight end weapon and you're not taking a tight end at 4. Just ask Atlanta how that went. So I'm going to have the Titans. I'm not going to do trades today, but I think the next mock I do, which is probably going to be post Super Bowl, maybe a little bit after that, probably like the week after the Super Bowl, I'll do one with trades when we start to find out who's really going to be on the market. Could anybody actually go for a first round pick? I think the closest thing we saw was like DK Metcalf going for a second last year. I don't think off the top of my head we had any players go for any first round picks pre-draft of the 2025 draft. So I'm going to have Arvell Reese go here. The Titans need playmakers, and Arvell Reese, like I said, could just be a chess piece and be the best defensive player in this draft, and he could be a chess piece for Robert Saleh, the new defensive-minded head coach going forward. So at number 5 here for the Giants, there's 2 weapons here, right, that you can really like. I don't think they're going to take Mansour Delane or Jamon McCoy here at number 5. Caleb Downs, Swiss Army knife, but they invested in the safety position over the years as well, and they signed Javon Holland last offseason. I either, one, love the idea of Jordan Tyson, who's my wide receiver 1. You're most likely losing Wan'Dale Robinson, but I want to protect Jackson Dart. And John Harbaugh obviously likes to build through the trenches as well. Cam Scatterbo and Tyron Tracy, I think it'd still be one of the best running back duos in the league next year. And who knows, maybe they end up with another running back this offseason as well. I want to keep protecting Dart, and you have Andrew Thomas, who's not been the most reliable player in his career, and I feel like the interior of the Giants offensive line, will be a little bit in flux this offseason. I'm going to take Francis Maianoa. From what I've seen from him this year at Miami, what he did for a team that lost in the national championship game, this is I think the closest to a blue chip offensive tackle prospect in this draft. I like him a little bit more than Spencer Fano, who I would justify going in the top 10, because if you can hit on an offensive tackle pick, that is well worth any draft capital, most likely outside of like the number 1 pick. Like you can make an argument it's the second most important position in the NFL outside of quarterback. Obviously you have edge rusher as well up there going forward. So I'm going to have the Giants build through the trenches there, and they're going to get Maianoa to protect Jackson Dart, which should be their number 1 priority this offseason. Number 6 for Cleveland. Also don't hate the idea of Spencer Fano. Todd Monken, we'll see how he does. He's not really dealt the best hand for Cleveland going forward. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback in this draft. Like maybe they end up taking, who knows, maybe they take a Ty Simpson, maybe they take a Nussmeier, maybe they really like a Trinidad Chambliss if he actually goes into the draft. He's like the one guy that we're kind of waiting on right now. So the Browns at number 6. I mean, Caleb Downs would be fun. Literally a chess piece for Todd Monken going forward, even though he's an offensive-minded guy. We'll see if Jim Schwartz is going to be back. Probably not. There's a lot of drama over there right now. I like the idea of Jordan Tyson. I'm not totally sold on this receiving core going forward, and I think he's not by far, but I think he's the wide receiver 1 in this class. Maybe you like Carnell Tate for Monken's play style a little bit more, but Tyson immediately becomes more of an intriguing long-term option than Cedric Tillman, obviously, and obviously Jerry Jeudy. I think Jeudy could be a high end too. We'll see if they go the veteran quarterback route this offseason. Like, is this going to be a Kirk Cousins team? Is this going to be a Russell Wilson team? Is this going to be a Kyler Murray team? I mean, not a lot of exciting options out there, that's for sure. Maybe they take a swing and trade for Mac Jones. I would have justified trading pick 24 for Mac Jones. I don't think that would happen, but if you offer that, or if it's like a swap, like 24 for Mac Jones and the 49ers second round pick, which is probably like 20th in the second round. It would actually be later than that. So like, would you go down a full round, but you end up getting Mac Jones, who you think could be your franchise guy going forward? Maybe. I'm just intrusive thoughts spitting that out there, but I do think whoever the next quarterback is going to be needs another weapon. And I think Tyson makes a ton of sense, or it ends up being Spencer Fano or Maianoa if they're on the board, but the Browns could also invest in offensive line a little bit later as well at 24 and with a second round pick. So we're on the clock here at number 7 for the Commanders. It's been my favorite fit this whole time. Sonny Styles could make a lot of sense here as well. They just need to add defensive playmakers, in my opinion. They need to get younger, and I like Caleb Downs a lot to the Commanders at number 7. I do think, like Arvell Reese, could be the best player in this draft, but he's going to be undervalued a little bit in terms of like mocks, and I think where he could end up going, because he's a safety, and that's what happened to Kyle Hamilton in the 2022 draft, and I do think he's the best safety prospect we have seen since Kyle Hamilton, and probably the best safety prospect outside of Kyle Hamilton, maybe in the 2020s as well. So we're on the clock here at number 8 for the Saints, and yeah, I also think like Dan Quinn can really utilize Caleb Downs with a whole new coaching staff as well. 8 Saints, 2 fun options. I would like to invest around Tyler Shuck. I think Kellen Moore honestly knocked it out of the park in his first year. Like going 6-11 with the expectations at least I had for the Saints. I thought they were going to be like a 3-4 win team. I thought they were going to be picking top 3. And I think like the way Shuck ended the season has to get you really excited about 2026, because if you hit on these draft picks, I know they don't have a lot of money to work with because of what Mickey Loomis did in like the early 2020s. They can still, I'm not going to say they're going to go worst to first in the division, but it's possible in the NFC South. Like, I'm not totally scared of the Panthers, Commanders, or Falcons next year. Who knows? The Saints could win 9 games next year. 3 more wins? Yeah, with having the number 8th overall pick and another, like, offseason with Tyler Shuck to develop with Kellen Moore, I'm getting excited about that. So Jeremiah Love makes some sense, and I think this would be a way better position to what, or compared to Ashton Jeanty last year, where Colton Miller goes down, Jackson Powers-Johnson is now like changing positions, and it's just like, yeah, this offensive line's a mess. You don't have a game plan whatsoever. It was horrible to watch the Raiders offense last year, and Jeanty just really didn't have anything to work with. I think Jeanty is going to be a lot better this year, but at least Jeremiah Love would have like Fuaga, and he's also going to have Kelvin Banks right away. I would like for them to maybe add one more offensive lineman this offseason as well. I don't think they're going to take an offensive lineman here at number 8 unless they, I mean, like Tyler Booker did go early last year. Some people thought like Will Campbell or Banks could be a guard as well. That didn't happen. I'm going Cardinal Tate. Like I said, you could definitely make an argument for Jeremiah Love there at number 8, but I think, hey, you go either Tyson or Tate. Maybe you like Mekhi Lemon a little bit more, but you get another weapon for Tyler Shuck moving forward. I think Juwan Johnson could be perfectly serviceable next year, And then you have Tate and Olave, because Olave you're going to have to pay, but Olave, hey, he's had his injury concerns in the past as well. He's not a sure thing out there. I think you take the number 2 receiver in this class. And hey, if Tyson is on the board at number 8, I am sprinting to the podium for that pick. I like Tyson a little bit more than Tet McMillan last year, so he would have been the wide receiver 1 for me last year as well. So on the clock here with the Chiefs at number 9, I mean, I love Jeremiah Love here. No pun intended. I really do, but I just can't see the Chiefs doing this. At number 9, like, maybe Brett Veach says, screw it. Like, this is a true RB1. This is, like, immediately a top 5 running back in the league week 1 of the 2026 season. And Patrick Mahomes gets probably the best running back he has had in his career outside of, like, pre-Kareem Hunt, like, drop-off. Like early or late 2010, so like 2019 Kareem Hunt, 2018 Kareem Hunt. I guess it would only be 2018 because I think in 2019 he was on the Browns. Sonny Styles, I mean, can he go out there like you have Leo Chanel? We'll see if he's going to be back next year. I mean, this team does need to add to the defensive line. I would love David Bailey or Ruben Bain, and there is a chance like teams overthink it and one of those guys falls to number 9. I mean, Sonny Styles, like I said, makes a ton of sense here. I mean, you go Spencer Fano. I mean, the offensive line has been kind of a shambles. The Jawan Taylor pick was a disaster. Free agent signing was a disaster. They trade away Joe Thuney. I know they had some cap restraints, but I think they're regretting that at this point as well. And we're not going to get a running back to flourish if the offensive line isn't good. So I know it's not a sexy pick here. And I know Mekhi Lemon sounds a lot more fun. And I know Jeremiah Love sounds a lot more fun. I'm going to go Spencer Fano here at number 9 for the Chiefs to really protect Patrick Mahomes going forward. And hey, you can land a running back early in the second round, which we see all the time, like Judkins and Trayvon Henderson went in the early second round last year. And could you take a Price, Coleman, Singleton, Allen, somebody you really fall in love with, or maybe you're taking an Ott later in the draft as well, or just somebody that you think, or Kenyon Black from Indiana who had a nice run at the end. So Bengals here at number 10. They're another team that just kind of needs everything. Sonny Styles, a guy that could do it all for you, really excites me. I think Spencer Fano could have made some sense, but he's off the board as well. I like them going Mansour Delane. I think him and Turner could be a formidable cornerback duo next year. They haven't drafted a cornerback kind of like this higher in the first round in a little bit. Like Stewart and Miles Murphy and Amarius Mims have had their ups and downs. I know Stewart is just a rookie at this point. I mean, I guess you're looking at like Jackson Hill as well, who was in the 2022 draft. So maybe that scares them a little bit more to take Mansour Delane. But I think they should go a corner or anybody defensively at this point. So you could look at Peter Woods. Is that a little bit high at 10? Maybe. But I do think Peter Woods is the best interior defender in this draft. But Caleb Banks had a really nice Senior Bowl as well, which can kind of solidify him in the first round. Miami here at number 11. I mean, it's a new coaching staff. Jeff Hafley, defensive minded. I mean, Sonny Styles would be great. This team has just no corners, right? Like, getting Jermon McCoy would be huge. Getting Caleb Downs would be huge, but I don't know if he's going to fall to pick 11. Maybe he does. Like I said, teams can overthink it with the safeties. I mean, they need a quarterback. I'm not going to take a quarterback here. I think it really comes down between McCoy or Lemon on the board, given they might trade away Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill might get cut, or I think a little bit less likely traded this offseason as well. There's not going to be that many weapons. I mean, I like Malik Washington. maybe as a wide receiver 3. So if you don't trade away Waddle, I would take Jamad McCoy, but if you do trade away Waddle, then I would take Mekhi Lemon here. I think I'm going to have them go Jamad McCoy. I mean, this defense is rough, and I think Jeff Hafley probably wants a corner at number 11, or at least somebody on the defensive side of the field coming over. So the Cowboys at number 12, you know what? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. The offensive line coach, you keep this offseason, I'm pretty sure. Oh, man. Schottenheimer gets Jeremiah Love. Now, it would make more sense to probably just give Javonte Williams a 2-year deal and add Sonny Styles here. But wouldn't this be the most electric offense next year with George Pickens, Dak Prescott, and CeeDee Lamb with Jeremiah Love? I mean, you've invested in the offensive line. It's by far from like a bad offensive line. I don't think they even need to think about that in the first 2 rounds whatsoever. I haven't really thought about this, but I kind of love it. I kind of love it, no pun intended, because I'm thinking about where Love ends up going. I mean, Baltimore, probably not. The Rams, fun, but probably not. Like, the Jets could just take a flyer on him at 16. If the Bucs think he's a difference maker at 15, I'm going to assume the Vikings would take him at 18. I mean, it's no Kwesi there anymore. Panthers at 19. I mean, the Cowboys would love to get him at 20. I don't think he's going to fall to number 20 in this draft. I'm going to have him go number 12 here to the Dallas Cowboys, Jeremiah Love. I think he's going to end up in this range. Now, Ashton Genty ended up going a little bit higher than we thought last year. Like, we thought he can go to the Cowboys. We thought he could go to the Bears. He ends up going number 5 or number 6 to the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, the Titans could take him at 4. I wouldn't do that. You have way bigger needs at the moment. The Browns aren't taking him. The Commanders could take him. I don't think they should take him because they have some other issues that they need to really address. So I think Saints at 8, Chiefs at 9, and then Cowboys at 12. I think that's the floor for Jeremiah Love. And maybe a team trades up for a running back, which I don't know if we'll actually see happen. So on the clock here at number 13, hey, with Devontae Adams, 1 year left on the contract, Mekhi Lemon for Matthew Stafford going forward sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, they could take the next best tackle. They could take Caden Proctor, Caleb Lomu on the board. It stinks that McCoy and Delane are off the board. Maybe they really like Avion Terrell, and if you like him enough, you're probably not going to get him at 29, maybe. So you take him here at 13. I'm going to take, oh man, I think I might take Mekhi Lemon here. I'm going to take Mekhi Lemon to the Rams at 13. It's not the biggest need at all, but if you think he could be the best wide receiver in this class, you might need a cheaper wide receiver too, like Lemon, on a rookie deal over the next 4 to 5 years with the 5th-year option next to Puka, who, when he gets the extension, is going to be a top 4, top 3, maybe the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. And Devontae Adams is not getting any younger. He's on the wrong side of 30. You can have Lemon, Adams, and Puka. You can also be worried about Devontae Adams' health. Like, could there be a hamstring flare? Could there be something like that? And we could just utilize him in the red zone and the red zone only. So Lemon kind of goes, or the Rams steal Lemon from the Baltimore Ravens, who are about to get a new head coach, right? They get Jesse Minter as their defensive minded. They pick up Declan Doyle from the Bears to be the offensive coordinator. I mean, hey, you give them Sonny Styles, although they don't really need Sonny Styles. That could be fun. Peter Woods could be fun as well. Like, do they take an offensive lineman here at 14? And we just end up taking Vig Ione from Penn State, who you could, I guess, make an argument as the top interior offensive lineman in the draft. Definitely need to watch more of them. Thought I was going to watch more Penn State this year, but they fell off a cliff really fast. And maybe this is like similar to like the Tyler Booker pick last year for the Cowboys. I mean, the Ravens could end up losing Tyler Linderbaum. I don't think they will, but they could end up losing him. You want to keep investing in the offensive line going forward, and you want to have a ground and pound style. And I think keep an eye on the Ravens to maybe take Derrick Henry's successor whenever he ends up falling off a cliff, which I guess is just not going to happen anytime soon with him. I mean, maybe they really like Keaton Mitchell next year going forward. I know it's not a sexy pick, and I wonder about Matabuke's health, because they could definitely look at Cassius Howell and Keldrick Falk, who are both still on the board, which would be, I think, pretty good value to take Keldrick Falk at 14. I think that could have been another pick. Do you like Peter Woods or Caleb Banks enough to take them at 14 as well, with Matabuke on the roster, who I think is going to be healthy next year? I'm really hoping he is. 15 bucks, easy. Sonny Styles. I mean, this is a home run pick for them. This might be too unrealistic, honestly. Like, Sonny Styles could go, he could go as high as 7 to the Commanders, to be honest with you. So he ends up going number 15. I've talked about it a little bit this offseason. The Bucs should try to get a off-ball linebacker. It's a Quincy Williams. It's an Ellis from Atlanta. Like, somebody like that going forward. Maybe it's a Devin Lloyd, but might be too expensive for them. Maybe it's a Quay Walker. You go out and get Sonny Styles at 15. That is going to do wonders for your defense moving forward, for Mike Tomlin's defense in 2027. I'm just messing. Jets at 16. Some really good options for them on the board. So they take David Bailey at 2. I mean, you can end up with Keldrick Falk and David Bailey in the same class. Holy shit. That is electric. That is electric. But they trade away Quinn Williams. They definitely need an interior defensive lineman. I think Caleb Banks might go ahead of Peter Woods in this class, and I think the Jets would really like the upside that Caleb Banks provides for them. So yeah, we're gonna have the Florida Gator go there at 16. I think the Jets, it doesn't hurt to go double offense here in the first, or excuse me, double defense here in the first round. I know it sucks that you don't have your quarterback, but I think the Jets are going to be big players this offseason in terms of taking maybe a high upside swing on a quarterback, or just taking a bridge guy for the 27 draft. Maybe it's just a competent veteran. And then they also invest in the wide receiver position in free agency, maybe to Romeo Doubs, maybe to Wan'Dale Robinson. They probably love Alec Pierce. They're probably not going to get Alec Pierce. I think he's going to be back to Indy, but who knows at this point. They're not getting George Pickens, but somebody like that they can invest in going forward, because they don't really need to touch the offensive line. I think they're going to tag Breece Hall. You trade away Sauce Gardner and Quinn Williams, but now Muji gets his like big physical, just like imposing defensive playmakers on the front seven and on that defensive line. So the Lions here at 17, I've normally gone offensive line for them, but the way that this mock has fallen, I mean, you could take Avion Terrell. Their corners were kind of a disaster this year. I think Keldrick Falk is just way too good a value here at 17 to Detroit, and I think that's just like phenomenal value for them. There's a good chance he's off the board, and maybe they're looking at like a Key Mesidor. Maybe they're looking at Cassius Howell there. I like Mesidor a little bit more than I guess PFF does. Vikings here at 18. I mean, with Jeremiah Love off the board, they're not going to go that route. I don't think they take like a Jennings Dunker or Caleb Lomu, but there is potential for that there. Kevin O'Connell might be coaching for his job next year. I mean, them firing Kwesi was shocking. I don't know how much KOC has in like his draft say, but Kwesi has not really had good drafts over the years. I think they can go Avion Terrell, and that's why I didn't think he was really going to be there for the Rams at 29. Like, you give Avion Terrell to Brian Flores' defense, that's going to be pretty good, I think, because Flores is going to come back as the defensive coordinator unless he gets the Cardinals job, but I'm not even sure if he's interviewing for the Cardinals job right now. Panthers at 19. A couple different guys I like here. Peter Woods on that line with Derek Brown. Hell yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm taking like CJ Allen for them at 19, but they can keep investing in that defensive position. I don't really think they need a receiver. Obviously, Leggett has been super disappointing, but I'm intrigued about Jalen Coker and Ted McMillan. Obviously, you want a little bit more depth there. I like the idea of Kenyon Sadiq to the Panthers. I'm a big fan of that, and I'm going to have Kenyon Sadiq go to the Panthers there at 19. Gives Bryce Young another weapon. You hope he can improve as a blocker as well. They just need, I think, one more playmaker, and I'm saying it right now, I think Chuba Hubbard's going to have a bounce back year in 2026 if he is the clear RB1 going into the year. So the Cowboys at 20, they end up with Jeremiah Love at 12, so we cannot go... Yeah, we just can't go offense here, although it would be fun to take somebody offensively. I mean, do they take a chance on Emmanuel McNeil-Warren from Toledo? The last Toledo defensive back in the first round worked out in Quinyon Mitchell. I don't hate that, but I also like the idea of Akeem Mesidor on the older side, but he could step in right away for Dallas. You'd have him as Araku next year, Quinnen Williams in the middle. I know I didn't take Sonny Styles earlier, which could definitely be the smarter pick. I like Akeem Mesidor to the Cowboys here at number 20, a true stud. Yeah, he's not playing with Ruben Bain anymore and that like loaded Miami defensive line, but the Cowboys are trying to build up those trenches again, and they got to invest in the cornerback position. So maybe they end up taking Avion Terrell. Well, actually, he's off the board. So maybe they end up taking Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Maybe they take a different corner, Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, who could also go in the first round as well. My Steelers here at 21. Ty Simpson and Garrett Nussmeier, like, keep an eye on them. If you really think Mike McCarthy, an offensive-minded coach, who I did not know was going to be the Steelers coach the last mock draft I did. I think you hope he's here for 5 to 6 years. You hope this year is a young quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback next year, I am not going to enjoy watching the Steelers unless we win 3 games. Then I will, because then we can have a quarterback in the 27 draft. I'm hoping it's Will Howard. I'm hoping it's like, not Anthony Richardson, but somebody at least that has upside, somebody that's younger than 27 years old. I just don't need another Russell Wilson. I don't need another Aaron Rodgers. I don't need an older quarterback for this team. I know you want to win for TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, but you were so far away from some of these other teams. Everybody was clowning CJ Stroud. Everybody was clowning CJ Stroud, and the Patriots made light work of them in the divisional round. I know the weather wasn't great, but you guys got blown out. I know it was more so their elite defense, but you couldn't like move the ball whatsoever. You just couldn't. The Steelers have a lot of issues. I don't mind them taking a quarterback in the first round because it would get me excited, but I'm going to take Denzel Boston here. Calvin Austin should move on. I want to see Roman Wilson next year. You have DK Metcalf, who was disappointing, but I think that's also maybe the offensive system. Arthur Smith is going to Ohio State. Mike McCarthy, you assume, is going to call plays. They bring in Patrick Graham, who I'm intrigued about as a defensive coordinator, definitely more than Terrell Austin. So Denzel Boston now can immediately be a wide receiver 2 for whoever your next franchise quarterback is going to be. So we have the Chargers here at 22. They just gave a nice extension to Tyler Tart. So I don't know if they would end up going like Peter Woods here. I would like to keep investing into the interior offensive line. It's tough to like think about like an interior offensive lineman here. That's like on the board going forward. Like Vega would obviously be the guy there, I think, for them at 22. Connor Liu now, like for Auburn, he might even be going back to school. So yeah, you're looking at like some of these offensive linemen. It's not great. I don't know enough about like the tackles to think, can you bump one of them to a guard? Like Freeling, Lomu, Proctor, Dunker, like if you think one of these guys can play inside, I would do that for the Chargers here at 22. Kenyon Sadiq would be a really fun addition. But if we're going to add to that defensive line as well, I mean, I'd like the Chargers to keep investing defensively, and I'm really excited about Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. I'm not reaching on a lineman. What I think the Chargers should do here at 22, I don't know if it's probably not the Steelers, but if it's the Browns, if it's the Jets, if it's the Cardinals, if it's the, I guess those would be the only teams here. The Dolphins moving up into this range to select like a Simpson or Nussmeier or Trinidad Chambliss. But for this mock, I'm going to go Peter Woods here at 22, given Caleb Banks is off the board. Eagles here at 23, a lot of fun options here for them. I mean, they could end up losing Reed Blankenship, so Dylan Thieneman, keep the exciting whites back there. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren could be a fun option as well. Like I said, the Toledo corners have worked. Safety, or just defensive backs. I mean, this team, I think, also just needs an edge rusher. I would love the idea of Akeem Mesidor to them. I'm going to take Cassius Howell. I think it comes down between him and TJ Parker, but I'm going to go Howell there at 23. I guess Kenyon Sadiq could be a fun weapon as well. We'll see if they actually trade away A.J. Brown this offseason. On the clock here with the Browns at 24 as well. This team ended up going Jordan Tyson earlier, and I think they definitely could go offensive lineman here. So I think it's Proctor or Lomu, whoever you like more. I like Lomu a little bit more. I know like neither of these guys are like sure thing first round picks, and maybe Monroe Freeling after we learn a little bit more. And I got to watch a little bit more offensive line tape going forward to the draft. I still like Lomu as an option for them at 24. So they don't take Spencer Fano at 6. They get his teammate Lomu at number 24. 25, Bears. They lose their offensive coordinator, but we saw their defense just kind of get destroyed a little bit against the Rams, or at least that front seven. I don't mind the idea of CJ Allen to this team. I think another athlete you could plug and play all over the field. You could try to build up on the trenches, like move on from Grady Jarrett eventually, and it's like Kaden McDonald. I like TJ Parker for this team. I'm going to go CJ Allen, though, out of Georgia, although one of the safeties with Byard being a free agent could be in play. I should have mentioned that. Bills at 26. I've mocked it a ton. Casey Conception out of A&M, I think makes a ton of sense for this team. I don't know what Joe Brady is going to do. I've also haven't done a mock since Joe Brady ended up becoming the head coach of this roster. They could end up just going a safety. Like they need somebody that they could play all over the field. I don't like, we're going to see at the combine. Like if Emmanuel McNeil-Warren or Thieneman like test out amazingly, like physically at the combine, and they're just like freak athletes. I mean, you just don't want to overthink it like teams did with maybe Nick Emenwari last year. Because I remember Emenwari was like a fringe second rounder going into the year, and then, leading up to the combine. The combine, it's like, this guy should maybe go in the first round. I remember doing mocks with him in the first round. He ends up going like mid-second round to the Seahawks, which hindsight probably should have been a first rounder. Like Maxwell Harrison. Bills probably would have liked Emenwari a little bit more. So maybe they just end up going safety here. Maybe they end up going Emmanuel McNeil-Warren instead of a wide receiver. But this team needs a receiver. I don't know if it's going to happen in the draft. Like maybe if Boston's here at 26, how do you feel about Conception? We'll see if Coleman's back. Maybe they're an A.J. Brown team. Maybe they're a Brandon Ayuk team. I don't really know. We'll see over the next few weeks, which is exciting how these mocks can change. Niners at 27. This team, man, had so many injuries. I don't mind them going offensive lineman. I don't mind them going edge rusher with all the injuries they had last year. We'll see if like Huff's going to be back. They could definitely use Casey Conception with Ayuk gone, Jennings probably gone, and then it's like, who's out there with Ricky Pearsall? So you know what? I'm going to go Casey Conception to the Niners here at 27 as well. I wonder who's going to be like the next running back off the board after Jeremiah Love. Like, will it be Emmett Johnson? Will it be Jonah Coleman? Will it end up being Singleton or Katron Allen or one of the Penn State guys? We'll see. I don't think we're going to see two running backs in the first round this year. Texans need a running back. I would love for them to maybe get like a Travis Etienne. Offensive line as well. Like I said, if you think there's an interior offensive lineman that should go here, maybe Manuel from Oregon, sure. I mean, I would just love them getting another chess piece defensively, just because the defense is already sick. And if you don't think there's a good enough offensive lineman or running back, you just add to the defense. So do I just go Caden McDonald? That's fun. That's fun. I'm going to go Caden McDonald. I don't mind that. And he also gets to have Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter opposite side of him. And Shair and all these guys just rushing the passer. Oof. Yeah, it's pretty fun. D'Amico Ryans is going to have another weapon out there. 29, Rams. Tackle, Caden Proctor. Corner, Brandon Cisse, who looks like he's going to be a first-round pick, are the viable options. We took Mekhi Lemon earlier. I want to take Ty Simpson here. but I'm going to end up going... they got to add to the secondary. I'm going to take Brandon Cisse, who I think is going to end up being a first-round pick. Broncos at 30. They're another team. I don't think they need a running back PFF. Yeah, they need a tight end. I don't mind the idea of them end up going... like, what do they take Eli Stowers here at 30? Do they take Zion Young with like the coolest stance off the line of scrimmage? Do they take Colton Hood? Because Janae Barron hasn't been the greatest. Obviously, you have Patrick Surtain and Moss might not be here too much longer. So you know what? I said I wasn't going to do maybe trades, but I think this is where I think the Broncos can maybe accumulate some draft capital here. We're going to have the Browns move up 9 spots. Maybe it's going to cost them like 139. I'm not really going to look too much into like the pick value of these trades, but I'm going to have the Browns trade up with the Broncos, and we are going to get Todd Monken at quarterback next year to compete with Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. We got Ty Simpson going to the Browns. Hey, if you watch some mock drafts before Ty Simpson maybe started to cool off a little bit this year, he was going as high as like wherever the Browns were, like 4 after the game against like Wisconsin and Vanderbilt, at least like on PFF standards. But then he like tapered off a little bit. Obviously didn't really have a great game against Georgia in the conference championship game. Obviously them getting blown out. And then Indiana was a disaster as well. And those are some of the more NFL like level defenses he could face. But I think it's worth it for the Browns to take a first round quarterback. Honestly, this is with your second rounder. You're giving him Caleb Lomu. You're giving him Jordan Tyson here at number 6. You have Quinshon Judkins behind him, which excites you. You have Harold Fannin, which excites me as well. And honestly, since you can maybe mark this off as a second rounder, we saw like Will Levis to Cam Ward. If the Browns suck next year, just take another quarterback. Honestly, we saw like John Eric Sullivan, the new executive of the Dolphins, say like they're going to take a quarterback every year. And I thought about trading up at number 30. I mean, I'm not going to trade up for Nussmeier here or Trinidad Chambliss, but keep an eye on the Dolphins taking one of those guys. I think they're Malik Willis team. So sorry for Broncos fans. I think you could have ended up going like interior offensive line. I'm sure they would love Peter Woods or maybe McDonald or Caleb Banks, with John Franklin Myers probably getting priced out in free agency. Maybe they end up with a safety or somebody like that as well. So we're on the clock here at 31 with the Patriots. I think TJ Parker makes a ton of sense with them maybe losing Chase Young in free agency. They could also be an interior offensive lineman team as well. And then we're on the clock here with the Seahawks at 32. I would love Dylan Thieneman to this team, but they don't need a safety. They might need a corner as well. I mean, do you take Freeling? Do you take Proctor? Think you're going to bump them inside running back? But like, you got to bring back Kenneth Walker at this point. Maybe you end up taking Anthony Hill. I mean, I would just love, I don't think you're going to take a receiver. Maybe you take Zion Young, but Boye Mafe is a free agent. So you know what? I'm going to take Colton Hood. They're going to lose maybe Job. They're going to lose Reek Woolen. So we're going to take Hood, who was the cornerback 1 this year at Tennessee with the Jamad McCoy injury. So that is my post-Senior Bowl, pre-Super Bowl NFL mock draft. I actually ended up having a trade. We had the Browns trade up for Ty Simpson. This is well, now we know 31 of 32 coaches. Kubiak is most likely going to be the Raiders head coach. So we're just trying to figure out who the Cardinals head coach is going to be. And then, yeah, it's like we have a lot of head coaches, it feels like, on the hot seat next year already. Like, who knows how Aaron Glenn is going to go in New York. Dan Quinn could be on the hot seat in Washington. I guess if you're always the Browns quarterback, you could end up being on the hot seat as well. I mean, could Zach Taylor be on the hot seat next year? 100%. Todd Bowles is obviously on the hot seat going into next year. And then I guess if you're maybe saying Nick Sirianni could be on the hot seat next year as well. Kevin O'Connell, but I think that would just be stupid to move on from Kevin O'Connell. But hey, maybe Vikings fans disagree. Oh yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a thumbs up if you did. Let me know what you agree or disagree with in this mock draft as well. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.